You've probably seen it. A college friend goes off to sell pest control for the
Oh
summer,
my
and
God,
suddenly they're
dog.
calling themselves a
Hell no,
manager
man. What?
and recruiting their own team. Sounds like a solid gig, right? But something always felt off to me. They said they were building a business, but the deeper I looked, the more it sounded like a trap. In college, I watched more than a few people get involved with these companies that seemingly looked like pyramid schemes. They were selling door to door and then recruiting others to do the same and taking part of the profit. It really left a weird taste in my mouth, and I was always trying to figure out the difference between multi level marketing companies and pyramid schemes. Because you see, MLM companies love to say that you're your own boss, but is that really the case? Or is it just another way of trying to sell you on what they're trying to accomplish? Today, I'm here to break that down and figure out what the difference is between a multi level marketing company and a pyramid scheme and what to look out for. So, to begin, what is a pyramid scheme? A pyramid scheme is an illegal structure where money is made by recruiting others rather than selling products. There's usually no real product, or if there is a product, it's extremely overpriced, and these tend to be low demand items. Now, let's look at what a multi level marketing company is. MLMs are legal in most cases, and they earn their money by selling products and recruiting others. Revenue can come from product sales, but not always. What I've seen from most multi level marketing companies, and for this example, I'll use a pest control company. You begin by being recruited by someone. You go for a summer wherever they have you stationed and you sell their pest control products and services for the summer. That next summer, you become a recruiter or a manager, as they put it, as I kind of said in the intro. You recruit your own team, and then as they sell, you get their profits. And you're in charge of training them and helping them sell and enabling them to sell, and you get their profits. It sounds honestly like a great idea and it's a viable way to make money. But is it ethical? I don't know. A lot of MLMs toe the line between MLM and pyramid scheme. Let's look at a side by side comparison. So, as discussed, a pyramid scheme has no product or fake value, revenue equals recruiting, and is always illegal. Multi level marketing companies, on the other hand, have real products, revenue is supposedly from product sales, and is legal, but controversial. In the end, the line is blurry, and MLM companies walk dangerously close to that line. Now that we know the difference between MLMs and pyramid schemes and that the line is generally blurry, let's figure out who's at risk. Based on research that I conducted through a couple resources that I'll put in the description, college students seem to be one of the most at risk. This has been my only personal experience that I've seen from MLMs is they're hunting college, especially fraternity members in Greek life. They love to see Greek life men in these door-to-door selling positions. Another that I saw was military wives and stay-at-home parents. These people usually have some time at home and they try to rope you in into starting your own business and doing it yourself and pushing their products and recruiting others. It's a really easy way to rope people in to being a part of these groups. Finally, people who are working remotely or are wanting quick money. Anyone who wants quick money, it's really easy for MLMs to come in and grab you. Whether they're a good company or not is up to the person's discretion, and I'll cover some red flags here in a second. But to summarize who's at risk, anyone who has any sort of ambition but limited income is going to be a target for these companies. So let's go over the red flags for these companies. An MLM company has the right to reach out to anyone, try to get people on their team. It's just as a business would. Where they start to toe the line is first, pressure to recruit. If they're constantly pressuring you into recruiting others, they may be walking close to the line of a pyramid scheme. Second is high startup costs. Most MLMs that I've seen don't involve any upfront cost. If you're paying in to a company, it's most likely a pyramid scheme. Third is earnings only coming from your downline. So your downline in this scenario would be if you're that manager and anyone past you or your recruits making money. If your only money is coming from your recruits, you're most likely in a pyramid scheme. You should still be able to receive some sort of income from your upline, which is the people above you. Fourth is promises of fast money. I personally don't trust anything, no matter what it is, that promises me fast money. And I wouldn't if I were you either. So if a company reaches out and promises really quick money, I would be alert. The last red flag that I've seen personally, which is involved in a lot of multi-level marketing companies, is they try to grab you in by doing all of these seminars and they'll fly you out to Hawaii or Vegas and just in a room full of like-minded individuals who are trying to make money the easiest way they can. And don't get me wrong, door-to-door sales is brutal, super hard. I don't know if I would ever really be able to do it, but they try to fly out to these different places free of charge, bring you together. They're going to flex off how the top guy has 10 Lamborghinis. And that's something that actually happened. A pest control door to door company owner came in and was like, yeah, I have like 10 Lambos. Ridiculous. So definitely be weary if a company is being really flashy and not really even hiding that their top guy is just making ridiculous money. I also want to really quickly mention Ponzi schemes. Ponzi schemes are similar, but instead of selling a product, they just use new investors' money to pay the old investors. It's a different scam, kind of the same idea. I want to quickly cover some multi level marketing companies that I've researched that I didn't honestly know were multi level marketing companies and dive into a few of them. The ones that I have written down are doTERRA, Mary Kay, Herbalife, Rodan and Fields, Hawks Pest Control, Active Environmental, and finally Vector Marketing. The biggest ones there, doTERRA and Mary Kay, you may have known a rep or two that were a part of their company. I honestly never knew that that was a multi-level marketing company, so just really interesting to see there. None of them are actual pyramid schemes, but they've all faced controversy, and I want to cover that really quickly. So this first picture is the Better Business Bureau complaints list for Hawks Pest Control. Most companies have an A plus rating, don't have too many complaints. It really does depend on the size. But for reference, another pest control company that's larger, has a greater reach within the United States, and has a better accreditation is Orkin Pest Control, who only has a fraction of the complaints Hawks does. You should definitely be looking into the Better Business Bureau to look at the complaints and see what's going on before working for an MLM. A lot of the time, these people that are complaining will show the true colors of what that MLM truly is as a business. If a company has anything over 500 complaints in the last 3 years, that should definitely be something that you should be looking out for. Let alone thousands of complaints in the last 3 years is ridiculous. This is something that I would look into and dive deep into, dive into Reddit, dive more into the Better Business Bureau and read through the complaints. Do your research before working for these companies because people are complaining for a reason. Another one of the companies that I mentioned, Active Environmental, has less, but still has over 1,000 customer complaints within the last 3 years. A few other things you want to look into is lawsuits. Be looking at class action lawsuits or any individual lawsuits against people and figure out what they were for. And secondly, high rep turnover if you want to go deeper. If a company has a super high rate of turnover, that could be a massive red flag for the quality of the job you're doing. So to close out here, all I'm really trying to get you to do is to do your research. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Don't be fooled by those sales gurus who are trying to tell you they're going to make you masters in one summer because they're not. You may actually get really good experience and learn how to sell, but is it ethical? I guess that's for you to decide. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm looking forward to making more of this type of content. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I'd love to hear and discuss in the comments what your thoughts are. So have a great day, and I will see you next time.